we all saw each other. But here we are, and we've got a lot to do tonight, and we're going to be here all night if we don't get it going. So, welcome to everybody. I think things are starting to come back to normal. On Monday, we were down to, the incident report was down to 8.1. So, thank you, Campbell County. We're coming around again. We haven't been able to have a meeting, but we've still been very, very, very busy up at the office. So we're going to run through some of that stuff and update you on all that tonight. Of course, like we always do, we want to thank the City of Wilder for allowing us to use the facility tonight. We're going to kind of change up the meeting a little bit. It's been so long since we had a meeting, we're not even going to do minutes, okay? Nobody can remember what happened back in November. Yes. Glenn, you want to cover up, update everybody on the treasurer's report, though?
Okay, February 1st report, we opened with $15,061.30. Had 38 renewals, memberships for $444. $13 in donations. We had publication sales of $423. We had a tech sponsorship renewed for $50, and we got a refund from some software for $63, so we took in $1,050.59. We purchased some labels and tags and a bunch of hanging folders for the project. Steve's going to let you know what's going on. And bought stamps, made a copier lease payment, and paid Secretary of State filing fee. So we spent $778.35. So our ending balance is $15,333.54.
Very good. Thanks, Glenn.
It's a long list of items from his family. Boy Scout membership card, American Legion membership card, Navy patches, there was an Army wool cap, some other Navy uniform top, the Newport High School yearbook, several other items, a long list. I have them if anybody wants them all in detail. Frederick Reuter gave us some film equipment, projectors, and a couple of reels of film. They'll go good with our camera collection. James Trout gave us a roll-a-bye baby stroller, a wooden office sign for W.J. Baker, and a Conan family history binder. Arlene Dukanowskis, and I'm sorry to butcher that name, a family history book about the Bernard family of Colonial Maryland. Joanna Bradbury gave us a book, Down the Street Across Town by Stanley Bradbury. And Jerry Pearson donated us a photo album of the wedding of Jerry Miller and James Pearson. That's the donations we've got so far this year.
Thank you so much. Jan? Membership, newsletter, and correspondence.
Okay, since we haven't been meeting, things like Steve said, still going on at the office. We've had lots of inquiries to do for some research, and we've helped some people find things through our library. So that's always a good thing. Our membership currently stands at 256. That includes 13 technology, corporate, and business members. And it also includes 58 life members and 5 complimentary members. We give our essay winners a complimentary membership and a couple other members that we do complimentary. So we'd like to get that number to 300 at least this year. We made it last year by the skin of our teeth. If you have not paid your dues, it's only $12 a year. You can pay us tonight, or you can send it in. If you haven't renewed, if you're here and you've never been a member, you can always join. It's you get our newsletter 3 times a year, and you get to come to all these wonderful meetings and use of our library and museum whenever we're open.
Newsletter?
Newsletter will be out at the end of April. It will be the May issue. And if anybody would like to send an article to me for publication in the newsletter, please do so. I would need it by the 1st of April.
Very good. Thank you,
Our
Mike.
essay winners, we do have essay winners for this year. We got a lot of essays. Charlene might report on that in a little bit. Some of the winning essays will be included from our students.
And that was my segue to steal a little from Charlene. We had 25 essays entered this year, that's a whole lot. And we really appreciate not only the students that are doing it, but the teachers that are promoting it. All that works. And the kids usually do some phenomenal essays for us, so we're all anxious. They are with the judges right now, correct? Yep. So the judges are grading it, and we'll have winners probably next month or the following month.
Oh, I told them the end of March.
Okay, so maybe by next month. I'm even going to skip over that. I do want to remind everybody, did anybody get a chance to drive by the courthouse in December? Down in Alexandria? I know you did. Mark came up with an idea for us to do a fundraiser and we sold Christmas trees for the front yard of the courthouse down in Alexandria. It was the coolest thing, I'm telling you. We've had people calling, that were just driving by or what have you. So what is going on there? We only sold 14 trees this year, but it was our first year and nobody really knew what to expect. We've already got, I think, half that many people called and booked for next year already. And so I thank Mark. We got the trees. We put the lights on it, and people came and decorated their own tree and made it, in memoriam to, or my business name, or what have you. And it was really, Mark scheduled a tree lighting on a Sunday night, and the first time that we turned them all on, and the whole yard of the courthouse just lit up. It was really great. So thank you to Mark, and keep an eye for the end of this year, and we'll do it all again.
Did anyone take a picture that could be in the newsletter?
It was in the last newsletter.
Oh?
Yep. You didn't throw that away, did you?
No.
Okay. Okay, we have added in 2021, we added a whole bunch of volunteers to add to what we have from all the board members that are giving of their time up there. And we're continuing to add more board members. I see one of them that's joining us soon, sitting over here. Clint he's just recently retired from the Board of Health, or the Health Department, and he's gonna start working on doing research on the arts in Campbell County, whether it be writers or poets or artists or playwrights or actors, actresses, all that, everything that falls in the arts. As I said, we haven't been having meetings, but we have been extremely busy up at the office. So I'm going to run through real quick and just upgrade you on what we've been doing. Number one, the website should be the upgrade. He's hoping to have it live by the end of this month. Okay, he's been working on that for a couple of months. It will have e-commerce in it so that you can renew your membership on there. You can join as a new member. You can buy any of the books that we have available. All of those things will be available. You don't have to send a check anymore, write a check. Nobody wants us to write a check and put it in the mail and send it and all that. Be able to do it online. And it's all going to be organized differently so that hopefully it's easier to see and read and follow things. So anyway, that should be done by the end of this month. Stuff we've been working on with all of these volunteers that we have. Our library collections, we found things we didn't even know we had. And we have now organized them. They're all in folders. They're in archival boxes. There's a label on the outside of the box. You can find everything. We still have a lot more of those to do. Charlene took the initiative and went up to the NKU archives. We had a metal cabinet that was full of clothing. Uniforms, dresses, christening gowns, I mean, just all sorts of things. It was so full you couldn't open the door on it. And we had nowhere to go with any of this stuff, and people were offering this stuff to us. So we bought some archival boxes to put that in. Charlene went to the archives to say, how do I do this? How do I store this stuff properly? She learned how to do that, and we've been clearing out that cabinet, and I think we now have, what, 5 or 6 boxes full?
Anybody want
And more
some?
due.
We're gonna get rid of it.
What is it?
We're gonna get rid of the cabinet.
Oh, yeah. So, veterans files is another thing that we've been working on. You want to talk about that a little bit?
I'm gonna come up. I'm not gonna do this every month, but because we haven't done this in a while, usually we just say, we got 14,071 veterans in our file now. We add every month. But what I wanted to say was I've reorganized the furniture. When Pam asked me to do this, okay, fine. Got all of the World War I in the cabinet, I've got old World War II in the case, and I have another case with Purple Heart veterans that's different than what we had before. I've gone through all the books, sorted them out, expanded them out. She left me 3 boxes of binders. I've used them all to spread out these, because they were just so jammed up we couldn't fit anymore. If you come up there, you're going to see a few things differently. And today we had a lot of visitors and I was pointing things out. One of the questions I was asked today was, has this all been digitized?
Volunteer!
Anybody want to volunteer? So they said, well, where else is this collection? Nowhere. If we lost that collection, we would be losing some valuable things. So put that on the agenda. We need to get that digitized and stored on something else besides up there in case, just in case. But I have really learned some cool stories looking through these veterans files. And any veteran who hasn't been interviewed yet, I would love to do that. If you step up and let me know, now that we're getting back into things. Your story is important. It isn't just about a name. Who said that? She was here. It isn't just about a name, it's about your story. And we would just love to have those, because they're important part of our history. That's all I gotta say.
Those are oral histories that Charlene's been doing, part of our Veterans of Valor program, okay? So yeah, please contact her through the office. If you're a veteran and like to share your story, we'd love to hear it. Sharon, you want to talk about what you're doing now? Sharon, this woman is working 3-4 days a week up there on the map collection. We have thousands of maps, and when Sharon originally took that over, nobody knew what we had. They were just piled up, they were rolled up. She was cursing the other day because every time she unrolled one, it would roll back up again.
Yeah, I have cornhole bags now on the corners of the maps because some of them are thick paper and they just won't lay down. So.
No.
I had been working on the plats, which were from the patents from 1883, and those patents were large tracts of land that military people were given because they didn't have money. They gave them land, and then it was sectioned down into groups. And so I've got all these stacks and stacks of plats, but you don't know where they are unless you know where the patents are and the groups are. So I was going through all that, and then I got frustrated and decided to stop on that for a while. And now I'm going through some subdivisions because that was going to be easy.
Not so easy.
And it wasn't so easy, but I'm going through, I almost finished that box.
Okay.
Probably Monday, or Tuesday. But yeah, little by little, I'm getting the things identified.
And it's all being indexed.
And it will be
So
indexed.
the whole idea is that we make this easier for people who are coming up to do research, so.
Yeah, eventually there'll be a hard copy index, plus we'll be able to have it in past perfect.
Right.
So you can call it up by different road names and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm trying to put road names on a lot of these maps, or at least define what county road means, or Old State Road, you know, that's divided up into several chunks now. So if you don't know which one it is, you don't know where your map is. So if it's unless it's near Alexandria or Clarendon or something, you know.
Right.
But if it's out there in the middle of nowhere, it takes a while to figure out where
Yep.
it is. So you're welcome to come up. Don't rush, because I'm still working through it.
One of the other things we're working on, we found out we have, what is it, 24 probably, Spears Hospital admission and discharge books. Okay? Yeah, I went and found my wife when she was born at Spears. I went and found her
Oh,
mother in
really?
there, okay? They're all in there. What's all in there? You name, address, age, gender,
Symptoms.
race, where you lived, how you got there. Did you come by car? Did you walk? Did an ambulance bring you? Oh, yeah. I mean, they know more about you than they asked today almost. Ken and Janet Moore are doing all of that. We thank them very, very much. I mean, you ought to see them. I mean, it's double duty, you know? And then they yell at each other, "No, you didn't tell me that." And I mean, it's hilarious to watch them. And we just sit back and let them do their thing. But we appreciate that very, very much.
And we could use a lot of help.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a lot of these books. And it took you, what, a week to do the 2 pages or something when you first got started?
Yeah, I figured that it'd probably take us about 50 years to get through it.
So we need help, yeah.
There's some years missing now, right?
Yeah, there's a few.
What's the earliest year you have?
Excuse me?
What's the earliest year?
1905.
Wow, okay,
Okay?
cool.
So,
And we're missing a few books in there.
right,
Yeah.
right. And speaking of Ken was a Dayton High School standout for football. And so I asked him if he would start doing some research on sports in the county. We're very, very lacking on sports stuff and on the arts. Those are 2 areas that we really don't have a lot on. So that's why Clint and Tara Williams are going to work on that. Ken is working on sports, and we talked the other day, what did you tell me, you had 60 pages of things? Okay? If you have a sports story, go see this guy. Just tell him your story. He'll put it down, and we'll get it into the files, and we're going to figure out how we're going to do it all. He called the other day, he said, "I'm collecting all this, but I don't know what to do with it." I said, "Let's take a look at it, and we'll figure out the best way to deal with it to make it available for everybody."
You know, I'm learning a lot too, Steve. I grew up in Dayton, Kentucky, and I didn't realize that Tacoma Pool, before that, it was a racetrack, it was a dance hall, it was a boxing center. It was all these things.
Yeah.
And I've got write-ups on every one of them.
And where'd you tell me you've been? You've been to Bellevue, Dayton, Fort Thomas, Newport, and you're still trying to get in at Campbell County to get
Campbell
information
County,
from them.
And
Okay.
then, a couple that we haven't, like Silver Grove's not there anymore, so we
Okay.
gotta figure out how to get that. And St. Thomas is not there anymore.
I've
Right.
got some information on St. Thomas, I will see you later.
And we have yearbooks from St. Thomas, a few, in our collection.
I have most.
And probably Silver Grove, too.
Yes.
Good.
Patty. You knew you were up. One of the other things we've been working on is cemetery files. We almost, probably 60 to 70% of the people that are coming in are looking for genealogy help. They wind up going to a cemetery to with help on that. Patty and her.
Debbie, no, I'm sorry, Marcia and Carrie.
Okay.
Carrie Kavanaugh and
Yeah.
Marcia Barbian.
Yes. Yeah, the Three Musketeers are all working, and they have taken on upgrading all of our cemetery lists because they haven't been upgraded for many, many years. So they took on Alexandria Cemetery to start with. It was A, right? They said, next time we're going to a smaller cemetery. That's a pretty good sized one. Charlene's also taken on family files. We had a generous donation from Tom Amon, who was a retiring attorney in Covington, who gave us all of his office furniture, including 17 four-drawer filing cabinets. By doing so, we were able to expand the space for our family files, because we have over 8,200 family files. 8,200 people in Campbell County, we have names on them, on their families. So Charlene has been working on that. We've done an index for that now. The next step is to now go through each of those and get the individual names that are on there, not just the surname. We also have kind of our junk pile, our general topics file. Somebody comes in one day, they're researching something, they've come up with a couple of things on it. Make a file of it, put it over here. Well, we had 12 four-drawer filing cabinets filled with that stuff. So we have an intern working with us now, Amanda Durbin, she's going to the University of Arizona. She's working online.
She flies in every week to do these files. I joke with her a lot.
And she has been cleaning those up, and we've eliminated 2 four-drawer filing cabinets because so much of the stuff was duplicated, or they were a mess. So we're getting those all together. To make all of that worthwhile, we've been working with Michael and Jennifer Gregory. Michael he's a librarian for the Campbell County Public Library. His wife Jennifer works with the Boone County Public Library. And they have been helping us kind of get our stuff together here. And I had a meeting with them last week, and they came in and they said, wow, you guys, this really looks phenomenal. This looks as good as the NKU archives does. And I thought that was quite a compliment.
Yeah, except ours isn't a black hole, you can get to it.
That's right, ours is all available to everybody. I got 3 more topics, and then I'm going to turn it over to Bernie. And all 3 of these kind of go together. There is a new publication that is coming out in Alexandria called Neighbors of Alexandria. They have asked us to provide a monthly article to them. The other thing is, anybody watch the Behringer Crawford History Hours?
Yeah.
Okay. Lori Risch, the director over there, has asked us if we have someone who would like to do a history hour over there. The other is we're generating a Campbell County timeline. Just anything that have happened. I'm going through newspapers, everything. And I think we've got close to 600 items on there, but we want, thousands of items on there. Anybody want to participate in that? If you have an idea, we'll send you the link. Courtney sent it up so that everybody can get to it. You can add things to it. And so just let me know. We'll send you an email with that on there, and you can add things to it. If you want to write an article, it's a 200-300 page article. It's like a paragraph. I'm sorry, 200-300 words. 200-300 words.
That's a book.
200 or 300 words, okay? Thank you. I get carried away sometimes. It's like a paragraph. That's all you have to do. If you're interested in that, let Jan know. She has the little schedule and all that kind of stuff.
Carol.
That's enough. I'm going to take a break. Anybody else know Bernie? All right.
Oh, yeah.
I sent out to the board, I sent them a message, and I said, and our speaker is going to be Bernie Sanders. Mark said, I don't think you have enough clout to get Bernie Sanders here. So we got Bernie Spencer instead. Everybody go to Northern Kentucky Views.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
most everybody does. It's an incredible website. Everybody goes there. But who's putting this all together? Who organized this? Who got all this stuff? Who's putting it online? Nobody knew. This is the face behind Northern Kentucky Views.
I did get an email once that thanked me and my staff for putting together some. Staff, don't I wish? My website came together one spring in 1997. I've been out there a long time. Three things just happened to converge in my life at once. It was a time when the internet was very, very young, and lots of people wanted to have a website, and lots of people did. And the typical individual website was a page that is like, here's my family, here's a picture of my dog, here's a link to the weather, here's a link to my favorite search engine, which if you were conservative was Lycos, if you were progressive was Alta Vista. Google hadn't been invented yet. Not what I wanted my webpage to be. So I was looking for ideas. And I happened to be going through some of my grandmother's stuff, my grandmother saved stuff. I've inherited, for better or worse, all of it. And one of the things she had was a little stack of postcards. She lived in Warsaw, so there were postcards from Carroll County, and a few from Gallatin County, and one or two from Owington. We're talking maybe 15. I had a small collection of postcards that I had. You used to be able to buy postcards at antique shows at malls. You remember antique shows at malls? And you could go through, there would be guys there selling postcards, and you could buy them for 25 cents or 50 cents. And my wife says, I'll buy anything for 25 cents. She is, of course, wrong. If it's sufficiently interested, I'm good for $5 or $10. But be that as it may, I had some of Campbell and Kenton. So I thought, and I just got the scanner. So I wanted a website. I found all these postcards. I had a scanner. I had a 14-year-old son that understood how the internet worked, how graphics programs work. So you put it all together and I put up a website. But I didn't have anything from Grant or Pendleton or Bracken. And I thought, well, what I need to do is go out and find some more pictures. Boys and girls, that got way out of control. What I propose to do this evening is start in Boone County and just run through it alphabetically. I will get to Campbell County, I'm saving it for last, but show you some things of interest that you may or may not know in some of the other counties. Show you some of my favorite pictures. There are 3 of them. The most famous is probably John Uri. He was a pharmacist in the days when pharmacy was migrating from 40% alcohol snake oil into actual drugs that can cure something. The man was a pharmacist in the sense that he knew what to do with a microscope and produced drugs that would work. He had a brother who was sharp in business and marketing and made business out of it. And they made a ton of money. Nelson Ashley is the oldest brother, and then John Uri, and then the youngest one, Curtis. I'm not going to talk about Curtis till I get to Grant County, but Curtis is the most interesting.
Well, they're in the Lloyd Library in Cincinnati.
Are they part of the Lloyd Library in Cincinnati?
They are. I mean,
Yes.
they are, we're members of it, we go
I-
there.
I will tell you more about it when we get to Curtis.
Okay.
Curtis is the man responsible for the Lloyd Library.
He never gives a preview. I asked him ahead of time, and I said, tell me, he wouldn't say anything. So you just got to follow the program with him here.
I'll get there. I promise to get there. I want to stop by Richwood. Richwood is, if you knew Richwood originally, it's pretty much a ghost town now. A ghost town in the sense that all the stuff that used to be in Richwood is no longer there. It's mostly truck stops these days. It's an exit on 75 if you're going south. If you're into road reconstruction projects, go to Richwood tomorrow. They're just rebuilding. They're putting a tunnel under a railroad and a road, and they're rebuilding the intersection, and it's a mess. But there's a lot of history in Richwood. I would argue for a town of its size, it has the second most history per square foot of any town in northern Kentucky. It's the number one being Washington, Kentucky. And I'll get to that.
See there?
There's 15,000 pictures here. I can't do them all at once. Richwood was the site of a Civil War skirmish called Snow's Pond. They used to have a bank. The man that was the owner of the bank put his son in charge of the bank. The son got kind of confused as to whether it was the bank's money or it was his money. He went to Walton, about 3 miles south of Richwood one day, got a haircut. Haircuts were a dime. He laid down a quarter and walked out the door. And everybody in the barber shop said, "What do you do? Why's he got all that money?" And one thing led to another, and sure enough, scandal. Richwood is the home of the Kiger murders. Who remembers the Kiger murders? Somebody? Anybody? Joan Kiger, the girl you see there, was the daughter of Carl Kiger, who was the assistant mayor of Covington at the time. They owned a house out in the country so they could breathe clean air on the weekends. Joan one night took a 6-shooter and fired 15 shots when her brother and her father killed them both. 15 shots out of a 6-shooter, then she had to reload twice. She was not convicted. They think maybe she did it in her sleep or was out of her mind otherwise, but was not cognizant of what she was doing. But after Pearl Bryant, that's probably the most famous murder trial in northern Kentucky. Everybody knows Pearl Bryant, right? Okay. I won't talk about Pearl Bryant. Richwood's also home to that house. It's the former home of one Margaret Garner. If you're not familiar with Margaret Garner, you should be. Slave that escaped from Richwood one night, got caught in Cincinnati, and rather than see her children taken back to slavery, proceeded to murder them. It is not the only instance of that type of thing. I have more. One of the interesting aspects of Garner to me is the trial. Margaret Garner's defense, not the prosecution, the defense is that yes, she was a murderer. The prosecution said nope, didn't do it, she's innocent. Because if she's a murderer, she goes to jail in Ohio. If she's not a murderer, she goes back to slavery in Kentucky. Strange trial. We're in Augusta, down in Bracken County. That one's from 1908. If you read the back, it says that those gentlemen in the street got very upset at those 2 loads of tobacco, that they tried to turn them over in the river. 1908, trying to turn tobacco over in the river makes this a scene from the tobacco wars of 1908 or so, when a man named James B. Duke essentially cornered the market on tobacco. If you had tobacco to sell, you sold to Duke or you had it for supper. And Duke, at that point, began paying less and less and less, and farmers rebelled. Sometimes the rebellion was peaceful, sometimes it was violent, but it's a fascinating episode in northern Kentucky history, and most of my pages have a link to it because there were episodes in virtually every town in northern Kentucky. Favorite picture time. Little town of Milford, down on the Licking, in the back end of Bracken County, and that's the mill from a painting. I know nothing about the painter or the mill. I just like the picture. between Carrollton. I'm on Main Street in Carrollton. If you've ever gone through Carrollton, you probably went through, if not on 71, on 42. 42 is not Main Street, 42 is Highland Avenue. If the courthouse faces Highland Avenue, the other side, down towards the river, that's Main Street. That's what you're looking at here is Main Street. I cannot tell you what the crowd is, but I can ask this question. Right there.
Yeah, but you can't see him well enough to know what he's doing.
I've been told that it might be a tightrope walker, which would explain why nobody's underneath him. I just find it a curious picture.
That would draw a crowd.
Yes, it would. The other picture I wanted to show you out in Carrollton is also on Main Street. You're looking towards Louisville. Courthouse is on your left. And what I wanted to know is if you can see right through there. You can't see it very well. There's a picture of a lady. There's kind of some curved writing over her head.
Would it be better if we turned the lights off?
Right there.
I thought of that at the very beginning.
Do we recognize what that is? That's the Island Queen. If you go to
Yeah, the first one.
yeah, the first Island Queen.
But
If-
it's on Main Street.
If you go to, it's on Main Street. It's at the park at the end of Main Street, at the confluence of the Kentucky and the Ohio. If you go there today, there's a big flat area and a nice city park. In 1907 or any other flood, if you're in a steamboat, you don't want to be in the river. Things float. Sheds, outhouses, railroad cars, whatever. You don't want your boat, so they pulled it out, essentially into the city park in Carrollton. Warsaw, Kentucky exploded on Christmas Day in 1959. That building you see in the upper right, there's a bank on the site today, had a gas leak. The man, the thinking is that he unwrapped the cashmere sweater he got for Christmas and the sparks from the sweater set off the gas leak. There were reports of the explosion from Ellesmere and Williamstown. All the houses around there that used to be two-story houses are now one-story houses. It broke out windows across the river. And if you ever want a lot of publicity for your town, blow it up on Christmas Day. What's he? Smith? Yeah. What's he? Okay.
Did people get killed?
One guy, the guy that owned it, the Smith did. I would say Jack, but I don't think that's right.
That's in Gallatin County that may interest you.
There's a story of Hub Ferguson. Hub Ferguson was sheriff of Gallatin County. Was found dead in Eagle Creek. And how he came to be there is a mystery to this day. But we got lots of stuff on it. That's a town in Great County. They call it Cherry Grove today. If you go down 25 south of Williamstown, you come to a point where there's a big silver teepee. That's Cherry Grove. It used to be known as Hardscrabble. It's where the road forks. One goes to Cynthiana, the other is Dixie Highway, so you go to Lexington. Anybody ever shop in Covington at a little seed store called Hills?
Yes.
That's his first store. In Hardscrabble, Kentucky. There he is. The toll gate is called Toll Gate.
I knew somebody'd get that.
An amazing old picture. One more favorite picture in Newport Parks. It is a great picture. It is published by a man named Albert Kramer. Albert Kramer was the foremost publisher of postcards from 1900 to World War I. They tend to be lithographs from Germany. He knew his business as a photographer. If you had great old postcards of the area, the odds of you turning them over, they say in A.E. Kramer, are pretty high. If they're not his, they're probably somebody that plagiarized him. One last thing, and then I'm going to shut up. From 1936, I give you video from Fort Thomas, Kentucky. It's one of those things where you like the background, find the background more interesting than the foreground. Or at least I do.
Track and field.
Yes, exactly. They're doing pretty good.
Yes, that building in the background is the wash. That's inside the armory.
It's in Fort Thomas, so we're going to have football, right?
Highlands High School played their games on that field as well, until they built the stadium.
That's all I got, folks. Thank you for your attention.
I have a question.
Sure.
I saw on the site today that you gave credit to the gentleman who did the Cincinnati version. And which I used to use that site, and I believe the last time something where they said he was no longer doing
Don
it.
Brown's no longer with us.
He's no longer with us. So what is the plan for that future?
The man he's talking about is a man named Don Prout. Don Prout sent me an email one day and said, would you like some pictures and some postcards for your website? And I said, sure. And I probably got 10 scans a day for the next month for Don Prout. After which he asked for my help on how to create a website. But it didn't take much for him to go on his own. The man had one of the most fabulous collections of postcards I've ever seen. Had the most fabulous collection of postcards I've ever seen. He collected Kentucky, he collected southern Ohio, he collected southeastern Indiana, former engineer at Millicron. He died a couple of years ago. And he must have been paying his website by the month, because shortly after he died, the site went blank. If you go out there today, there's a message that says, we're trying to raise money to bring it back. Hint, there's a website called the Internet Archive, also named after an old Rocky and Bullwinkle concept called the Wayback Machine. If you will go to the Wayback Machine and enter Cincinnati Views, it's still out there.
So what is
If you
your
put in
plan?
Cincinnati Views, it shows up. I'm the director of the Fort Thomas Museum, for those of you who don't know. And I owe Bernie a whole lot because he's let me use these pictures, some of these pictures. But I found a picture in Cincinnati Views and it was still, that site is still active. Maybe I just stumbled on it.
The last time I looked, it was not. Let's look.
The last time I
Now,
looked.
this has been 3 or 4 months, but I know he died a while back.
So, I mean, is there a custodian that would take this and maintain this?
I think they're looking for somebody.
And how about your site? Are you looking for someone?
I'm not looking for someone for my site. Maybe somebody to type, but no. That's what my wife's for.
So how about your site? You obviously don't have a staff, it's you and your wife doing this. Where do your pictures come from? Do people send them to you? Do you go out and get them? Do you go to yard sales? Do you go to antique stores?
I was so afraid somebody was going to ask me that question.
Well,
I get that question a lot, and my standard answer is, oh, it's just what I do. Because frankly, I figure most people that ask the question don't really want to know. They're just being polite and they're making conversation. I figured he wants to know. I get them from libraries. I get them online. I have looked through, one of my favorite Covington pictures is from the Philadelphia Museum of Art that I stumbled into one day. Great picture. Let's see if I can find it real quick. (1836) Covington. Isn't that a nice picture? Don't tell Philadelphia Museum they don't know I took it.
It's some kind of a paint.
That's the Rupert Barracks on the left, Riverside Drive on the right, licking behind the steamboat. Most of my pictures, a lot of my pictures used to come off of eBay, whether I bought them sometimes, or whether I could right-click on them. I used to buy them all. Because in searching for pictures in antique malls and junk stores, I found enough old postcards from other areas that I knew somebody like me was buying in, Ypsilanti, or Waxahachie. Fort Wayne sold real well there for a while too. But anyway, for a while there I was both selling and buying, and the selling covered all the buying, so it was a wash. Then it moved from where antique dealers were antagonistic towards eBay. Oh my God, they're killing our business. Then they learned how to do it. And once they learned how to do it, the prices all went up. The amount of junk to good stuff went up. And it's just hard to find anything on eBay anymore. Most of the pictures I get these things are off of Facebook.
Yeah, okay.
Facebook tends to tilt much more towards nostalgia than it does history. But every once in a while you can get some gems.
Yeah.
So, libraries, antique stores.
Okay. So
eBay.
anywhere and everywhere.
Anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah.
People send them to me.
Yeah.
If you have any, send them to me.
Send them to us too, okay? We have quite a collection too.
Send us both.
We'll share.
Other questions?
I know that you're not anticipating leaving this earth anytime soon. is going to happen to your collection when you are no longer available to take care of it?
Beats me. Which, I don't mean to sound flippant.
No,
My intention would be to load down and give it to my children. I have a document that tells them what the possibilities that they can do with it, what they absolutely cannot do with it. I have mentioned the possibility that there may come a day when a site about history is in and of itself historic, and the web, as we know it, no longer exists, and my site is absurd. If they want to pitch it in, pitch it in. So I've given them options. They're intelligent people, they'll figure it out. I can tell you some things I'm not going to do with it, but in the interest of being civil, I don't think I will. Anybody else?
Very good.
Thank you again.
Bernie, thank you. That was good. Does anybody else have anything you need to say? Jan has the tickets.
Oh, we're doing this. By the way, those Spears Hospital books, we always knew we had them. We just didn't have anybody that would sit down and transcribe them like they're doing now, the Moors are doing now. And the veterans files of all those books with veterans in it, the names only are on our Gen website. So you can go to the Campbell County Gen web and look for the name of a veteran you want to look up and see if we have them in our binders.
And then come down and visit us down
And
at the office.
if we don't have them, we have a form you can fill out and we will add it to our collection. So, okay, our winning ticket, 935162.
That's me.
All right.
Well, our door prize tonight is a nice book of Northern Kentucky historical sketches. Not postcards, but sketches that was done by Linda Martis.
That's nice.
And it's all Northern Kentucky.
There you go. Excellent.
Sure.
Going back to the veterans for a moment, I know that they're collecting the names and the records. As I said, I'm from the Fort Thomas Museum. It's the Fort Thomas Military and Community History Museum. You may or may not know, if you had a family member who joined the Army or the U.S. Army Air Force during World War II, they went through Fort Thomas. If they came from Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, or West Virginia. The museum will, when we open this year, from now until 2025, almost the entire museum is dedicated to World War II and those veterans. 250,000 men went through Fort Thomas. We are collecting as many stories as we can. They're keeping the records of who. There is no list. That's gone. That went up in a fire somewhere. But if you have anything that you are willing to loan us, to give us, pictures, diaries, letters, stories, we're happy to have copies. I don't have to have the originals, but we're telling stories.
There's not much of either of them left anymore. The main feature of Gratz used to be its lead mines. Lead from the mines in and around Gratz was used for ammunition in the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, the Mexican War, the Civil War, World War I, World War II, and Korea. Lead mines are gone. I'm in New Liberty. There's a town in Carroll County down on the railroad on Eagle Creek called Sanders, at one time was called Liberty. And that's where the shipping point was for the farming community up on top of the ridge. Sanders isn't so much of a farming community, but up on top of the ridge in what was Dallas is now Wheatley, in New Liberty, is the home of a lot of full-time farmers, not guys with day jobs in Owens or Warsaw or Carrollton, but guys that are real farmers. So that's why it's named New Liberty. It is the home of, or was the home, of J.B. Hartzell, who started Possum Ranch, and also served ripe oranges. I've lost a page here. Oh, how the New Liberty Christian Church got its bell. Because Uncle Thomas Gale, a very honorable gentleman, not especially known for his religion, donated a bell to the Christian church as he had gotten damn tired of those Baptists bragging about their having a bell and the Christians having none. The Christians, the Baptists, it should be added, Baptists in New Liberty started out down on Eagle Creek, the other side of the ridge from Sanders. They started a little church between the Big Twin Creek and the Little Twin Creek, called the Church of the Twins. It dates back to 1801. 1801, that's a ways back, boys and girls. Let's get a little closer to home. Let's go to Pendleton County. One of the features of my Pendleton County page are the houses. Now, it is not uncommon to find old postcards of residential scenes. There's one or two in Covington, there's one or two in Newport, there may be 5 or 6 in Carroll County. There must be a dozen in Pendleton County, in Falmouth. That whole page is, they're old classic era postcards, color lithographs. There's a bunch of them. In DeMossville, 15 pictures of DeMossville, including the toll gate, the depot, the covered bridge over Grassy Creek, the school. And getting far away from for Campbell County, I would go to the little town of Bedford in Trimble County.
I used to have good peaches there.
And here, I have a man writing about the general store ledger. I would guess in your museum you have store ledgers. That's not what this is. This is a man writing about why people are buying and selling what's in the store ledger. It's like, why is this woman buying this? Why doesn't she buy that to go with it? Why is the man buying this? Why is the man selling this? He's analyzing the whys and wherefores of the purchases and not just, oh look, buttons cost a dime. It's not that kind of stuff. It's well researched.
We call that market research.
There you go.
That you've read.
There's the 37 flood in Milton, the aforesaid house floating down the Ohio River. The most interesting person to come out of Trimble County is not Robert Trimble, for whom the county is named, and not Harlan Hubbard, who left Campbell County to go live in Trimble County. It is not Jack Tingle, who played for the NBA. It's Delia Webster. Anybody familiar with Delia Webster? Delia was an abolitionist. She went to prison in Frankfurt for trying to smuggle some slaves from Lexington to Maysville. And she got paroled early. She befriended the warden. I don't know what they mean in those years when they say befriended. But she moved to Trimble County, where she bought a plantation down on the river. There's a big power plant there today. The thing is, slaves started disappearing from the county when she moved down there. And the Trimble County people were kind of perplexed. Because, you know, it's 1850s. You didn't put women in jails in 1850. You just, you know, yelled at them good, shook your finger and said, never do it again. Hope they'd stop. Well, Delia didn't stop. Delia ran off with a lot of slaves. And they finally got over whether or not they wanted to put her in jail. They put her in jail. And they didn't give her heat, and they didn't give her food. And they threatened to kill her, and she eventually decided, maybe I'll go over to Madison. And she did. There is a pretty interesting stuff. Each of my pages has at the bottom a page I call links and miscellany, for lack of something better to call it. But my site as a whole has such a page. Into my thinking, some of the more interesting things are out there. There's the thing early on that talks to you how to get from Detroit in the Northwest Territory from Frankfurt. And you go to Sanders, and you're crossing Big Eagle Creek, and then you go to Clark's, and then you go to Reed's, and then you're in Newport. Does anybody know where Clark's and Reed's is? No answers, I don't know. Really hoping you guys would know.
Wouldn't those be like stagecoach stops or something like that?
I assume they could be early names for like Cynthiana or Paris or Millersburg or just some guy's house. It's long ago, yeah, I have no idea.
What's his numbers?
Beg your pardon?
What's the numbers on the right-hand side?
Oh, the miles. The miles from here to here, and the miles in the aggregate. I've also got a set from 1819 on how to get from Cincinnati to one goes to Lexington, one goes to Washington, one goes to Louisville. I've got an essay on what those all mean, for better or worse. Lots and lots of maps. I have here a journal written in 1818. It is, come on. Okay, well, 1818. It describes every little landing along the Licking River from Covington all the way down to the Harrison County line. It went on. I stopped typing. My wife stopped typing. I can't read that stuff. But if you want to read it, it's out there. It's old stuff. It's interesting stuff. I wanted to show you that chart. It gives various levels of flood heights. There's the third worst flood in 1913. Notice it comes up and comes down over 65 feet. There's the worst flood, second worst flood, 1884. There's 1883. Notice it goes over 70 feet and comes right back down. Now look at that 37 line. It goes over 70 feet for 11 days. 11 days.
What year was that?
37.
I think that's remarkable. It's hard for me to imagine the difference between the second worst flood and the worst flood, but that chart kind of drives it home. So on the river page, boats. We have boats for photography. We have boats for Bible school. We have boats for groceries. We have boats for umbrella makers. Any business you could start on land, some idiot out there put on a boat and tried it. And I'm sure a lot of them make good living doing it. You know, you pull up to Petersburg and you stay a couple of days and you get the word out. I'm here to sell this, buy this. Doesn't work. Pick up anchor and head downriver. Let's see. Oh, Campbell. I didn't talk about Campbell, did I? Something I want to show you that you might have missed. And I'm on my links in this landing page, and I'm going all the way to the bottom to those things. Got these from the National Archives. The National Archives digitized all the paperwork, old paperwork the post office had. So if you wanted to change the location of your post office, if you wanted to establish a new post office, you sent paperwork to the post office department in Washington. Some of it they saved. If you click on any of those, you will get a PDF about the post office in that location, but I'll warn you up front, some of them are borderline worthless. Some of them are just fascinating. They all have a map. They're all supposed to have a map. In later years, the post office department asked the postmaster to locate their post office on the township map. And most of the postmasters in Kentucky were like, township map? What's a township map? You know?
What is that first one at the top on the left?
This one?
Yeah,
Grant.
okay, thank you.
I was going to show you Bar Wiley. In 1881, for a new post office at, I can't read that word. I think it's, might say, Federal. But anyway, they said they wanted to name the post office Wiley. And the post office department overruled them. Said it should be called Mar. And there's a so-so map. There's also an interesting one at Kohler. Who's Kohler? They want to establish a post office at B's old store. And they want to call it St. Peter's.
Yeah.
Post office said, nope. You've got to call it Kohler. Favorite pictures. Queen City Racetrack. You know where it was? Right over there. There's a big steel mill there today. They built it, it's around, I want to say like 1895 to 1905, I'm guessing, but that period. They built it as a competitor to Latonia. They never did have their purses. It failed after 10 years, but there was absolutely a racetrack in Wilder. Other favorite pictures. The toll gate is called Toll Gate.
I knew somebody did that.
An amazing old picture. One more favorite picture in Newport Parks. It is a great picture. It is published by a man named Albert Kramer. Albert Kramer was the foremost publisher of postcards from 1900 to World War I. They tend to be lithographs from Germany. He knew his business as a photographer. If you had great old postcards of the area, the odds of you turning them over and they say A.E. Kramer are pretty high. If they're not his, they're probably somebody that plagiarized him. One last thing, and then I'm going to shut up. From 1936, I give you video from Fort Thomas, Kentucky. It's one of those things where you like the background, find the background more interesting than the foreground. Or at least I do.
Track and field.
They're doing pretty good.
Yes, that building in the background is
Yeah.
the wash. That's inside the armory.
It's in Fort Thomas, so we're going to have football, right?
Highlands High School played their games on that field as well. Until they built the stadium.
That's all I got, folks. Thank you
Okay.
for your attention.
I have a question.
Sure.
I saw on the site today that you gave credit to the gentleman who did the Cincinnati
Don
version.
Prout.
And which I used to use that site, and I believe the last time something where they said he was no longer doing
Don Prout's no longer with us.
He's no longer with us. So what is the plan for that future?
The man he's talking about is a man named Don Prout. Don Prout sent me an email one day and said, would you like some pictures and some postcards for your website? And I said, sure. And I probably got 10 scans a day for the next month for Don Prout. After which he asked for my help on how to create a website. But it didn't take much for him to go on his own. The man had one of the most fabulous collections of postcards I've ever seen. Had the most fabulous collection of postcards I've ever seen. He collected Kentucky, he collected southern Ohio, he collected southeastern Indiana. He's a former engineer at Millicron. He died a couple of years ago. And he must have been paying his website by the month, because shortly after he died, the site went blank. If you go out there today, there's a message that says, we're trying to raise money to bring it back. Hint, there's a website called the Internet Archive, also named after an old Rocky and Bullwinkle concept called the Wayback Machine. If you will go to the Wayback Machine and enter Cincinnati Views, it's still out there.
So what is
If you
your
put in
plan?
Cincinnati Views, it shows up. I'm the director of the Fort Thomas Museum, for those of you who don't know. And I owe Bernie a whole lot because he's let me use his picture, some of these pictures. But I found a picture in Cincinnati Views and it was still, that site is still active. Maybe I just stumbled on it.
The last time I looked, it was not. Let's look.
The last time I
Now,
looked.
this
it
has
was-
been 3 or 4 months, but I know he died a while back.
So, I mean, is there a custodian that would take this and maintain this?
I think they're looking for somebody.
And how about your site? Are you looking for someone?
I'm not looking for someone for my site.
No.
Maybe somebody to type, but no. That's what my wife's for.
So how about your site? You obviously don't have a staff, it's you and your wife doing this. Where do your pictures come from? Do people send them to you? Do you go out and get them? Do you go to yard sales? Do you go to antique stores?
I was so afraid somebody was going to ask me that question.
Well,
I get that question a lot, and my standard answer is, oh, it's just what I do. Because frankly, I figure most people that ask the question don't really want to know. They're just being polite and they're making conversation.
Wrong.
I figured he wants to know. I get them from libraries. I get them online. I have looked through, one of my favorite Covington pictures is from the Philadelphia Museum of Art that I stumbled into one day. Great picture. Let's see if I can find it real quick. (1836) Covington. Isn't that a nice picture? Don't tell Philadelphia Museum they don't know I took it.
It's some kind of a thing.
That's the Woodward Barracks on the left, Riverside Drive on the right, Licking behind the steamboat. Most of my pictures, a lot of my pictures used to come off of eBay, whether I bought them sometimes, or whether I could right-click on them. I used to buy them all. Because in searching for pictures in antique malls and junk stores, I found enough old postcards from other areas that I knew somebody like me was buying in, Ypsilanti, or Waxahachie. Fort Wayne sold real well there for a while too. But anyway, for a while there I was both selling and buying, and the selling covered all the buying, so it was a wash. Then it moved from where antique dealers were antagonistic towards eBay. Oh my God, they're killing our business. Then they learned how to do it. And once they learned how to do it, the prices all went up. The amount of junk to good stuff went up. And it's just hard to find anything on eBay anymore. Most of the pictures I get these things are on Facebook.
Yeah, okay.
Facebook tends to tilt much more towards nostalgia than it does history. But every once in a while you can get some gems.
Yeah,
So, libraries, antique stores,
okay. So
eBay.
anywhere and everywhere.
Anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah,
People send them to me.
yeah.
If you have any, send them to me.
Send them to us too, okay? We have quite a collection too.
Send us both one.
We'll share.
Other questions?
What, I know that you're not anticipating leaving this earth anytime soon, but as we found out with Mr. Kraut, what is going to happen to your collection when you are no longer available to take care of it?
Beats me. Which, I don't mean to sound flippant.
No, I'm fine.
My intention would be to load down and give it to my children. I have a document that tells them what the possibilities that they can do with it, what they absolutely cannot do with it. I have mentioned the possibility that there may come a day when a site about history is in and of itself historic, and the web, as we know it, no longer exists, and my site is absurd. If they want to pitch it in, pitch it in. So I've given them options. They're intelligent people, they'll figure it out. I can tell you some things I'm not going to do with it, but in the interest of being civil, I don't think I will. Anybody else?
Very good.
Thank you again.
William, thank you. Does anybody else have anything you need to say? Jan has the tickets.
Oh, we're doing this. By the way, those Spears Hospital books, we always knew we had them. We just didn't have anybody that would sit down and transcribe them like they're doing now, the Moors are doing now. And the veterans files of all those books with veterans in it, the names only are on our Gen website. So you can go to the Campbell County Gen web and look for the name of a veteran you want to look up and see if we have them in our binders.
And then come down and visit us down
And
at the office.
if we don't have them, we have a form you can fill out and we will add it to our collection. So, okay, our winning ticket, 935162. That's me.
All right.
Well, our door prize tonight.
One little request. I told you we were doing all these files and everything. We're putting all that stuff in hanging files so that right now it's just sitting in manila folders in these drawers, and they drop down, they get lost, they get misfiled. So by putting them in hanging files, we're able to keep track of everything and keep it upright and take care of it. Hanging files are really, really, really expensive. Okay? If anybody has any extras that they are not using anymore, if you've gotten rid of stuff, whether they're legal size or paper, standard size, letter size or legal size, either one, we can use them. Please let us know. I'll come pick them up, or you can drop them off at the office, whatever, okay? But we need like thousands of them, so whatever anybody has, we would greatly appreciate it. If you don't have any and just want to contribute to the cause, send a check to the office and just mark it as file updates or what have you. Upcoming meetings. Next month, if you remember back last August or September, I think, we were supposed to go to New Riff and learn about the bourbon business in northern Kentucky and all. We postponed it because of COVID till April. That's next month, okay? I talked to them today, and we're getting that all squared away. They're very excited about having us back there. They have some limited seating there, so we'll probably want to do that sign up, the registration thing. It doesn't cost any more money, but just registration so that we can kind of keep track of how many people are going to be there. In May, it's going to be really interesting. Bridget Stryker is at the Boone County Library. I think many of you have seen Bridget before. She did a presentation for the Mary Ingalls DAR chapter. And Jan was there and saw it and said, they did a fantastic job. She brings with her a nice lady from Indianapolis, I believe.
No. Patty?
Yeah.
Hans? Yeah, she's not in Indianapolis. I don't know where she's from.
She's Indiana somewhere, I think, yeah. She is a descendant of Mary Ingalls. Everybody know the story of Mary Ingalls?
Descendant.
A what?
She's a direct.
Direct descendant, yeah.
You've seen the statue of Mary Ingalls at the Boone County Library, that's Patty.
She was the model for the statue.
Okay, Patty's going to be there as well. Okay, so we're going to hear that story. Does everybody know the story of Mary Ingalls, I hope? Okay. June is going to be our annual picnic. July is open right now, and in August we have made arrangements we're going to meet at the Falcon Theater down in Newport. Okay? That also has limited seating, so we're going to have to watch down there, but we'll do an SRO show or what have you, okay? But I'm looking forward to it. Anybody have anything else? That's all I have. Thank you ever so much. It is absolutely wonderful to see all these faces back here again.